Welcome back to the 19th hole, everybody. Jake here, joined as always by Mike and Keith. This is going to be our preview show for the 2026 PGA Championship, hosted at Aronimink Golf Club in Newton Square.
Got it.
That's one of those words where it's like my brain sees Newton without the W in the second part of the word. So is it Newtown Square? I'm going to assume it's Newton Square. If you haven't learned anything from this podcast yet, at this point, we don't know how to pronounce anything. We're making it up as we go. But what we are not making up is the PGA Championship and what we can expect out of this event. So we have the PGA Championship, the legendary Wanamaker Trophy. But Mike, as always, you write up such eloquent breakdowns of the course. So tell people what they can expect out of Aronimink Golf Club.
Aronimink Golf Club, like you said, Newton Square, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. This is the type of golf course that the PGA Championship should be trying to get to at least every other year, right? We have golf courses that squarely sit in the U.S. Open, Rota. I don't need the PGA Championship to do that. What I do want it to do is go find like really historic and storied venues, especially ones like Donald Ross courses that were built 100 years ago that have gone through restorations by prominent architects. In this case, you have I believe it's a 1928 Donald Ross design that was restored by Gil Hanse in 2017. And like most Donald Ross courses, you know, there are certain features that he carries with him in a lot of his designs. But everything's got a little bit of uniqueness to it. And what I think is super interesting about Aronimink is that the entire property, in my opinion, acts like a macrocosm of Donald Ross design. So you think Donald Ross design, you think of these crowned greens. Well, literally the entire property is like a giant bowl. And so these holes wrap around the sides of this bowl. And so you're going to have cases where you're playing a dog leg that bends right and the fairway is going to slant left. And it's going to really test the player's ability to get the ball into the right positions. So this is a par 70, 7,200 yards. It is not going to be a bomber's paradise. You're really going to have to think your way through this one. There's not a ton of trees, but there is 170 plus bunkers. Gil Hanse, when he came in, he went, instead of building these massive, deep, massive bunkers, he's got like small-ish bunkers kind of paired up, pods of 3, 4, 5, 6 bunkers together that sit in these dog legs. He's got the Hershey Kisses that you see in a lot of the Donald Ross restorations. And I think we're just going to have a lot of fun watching what is a 7,200-yard golf course going to torment players as they try to figure out where to get in a position off the tee. So for the golf historians out there, really soak this one up because it's a treat to get to see a course like Aronimink, and hopefully TV does a good job, get to see some of this architecture that we don't normally see. I'll stop there. What do you guys think? Are you excited about this one?
I am. I mean, as you said, it's a very legendary course. It's exactly what the PGA Championship should be striving for. I mean, when you look at a course like this, right, it's a true tee to green test, and not like any of the major tracks aren't, but like, I mean, we've seen it over the years with Augusta. The meta at Augusta is kind of just hit it as long as you want, and you'll probably leave, as long as you don't put yourself on the bad side of the fairway, you give yourself a shot in. US Open, do not hit it in the rough. Just don't do that. You'll probably be fine. When you get a course like this that is a true tee to green test and is going to force players to realize on those holes that you mentioned, those dogleg rights or holes that lean to the right where everything funnels left, do you play for a fade if you're a right-handed golfer to land into the slope and not roll down as much to the left? Or do you play the draw and try and get that roll to assist you to get your ball farther forward? It's every shot becomes a test of course knowledge, and it becomes something where if you don't execute the shot, you're going to put yourself in a worse situation than if you had picked the wrong line in some situations. So it's a thinker's course versus one where I can just hit it 340 yards. I'm probably just going to do that, and then I'm going to figure out what I have to do from there. Keith, how about you? Where are you standing on this as a PGA Championship venue?
I mean, I'm always down for new venues. So that's a win. I hate that we go to the same majors over and over. There's so many good golf courses in the U.S. I am a little more concerned than you guys are that this course is going to protect from people like Rory McIlroy and Cam Young, who hit the ball 350 yards on a dead rope laser. Rory has destroyed Donald Ross courses. Bryson DeChambeau has done very well on Donald Ross courses because they're going to say, screw it. All of what you just said, yeah, it might hurt me, but I'm still blowing it over everything. And I just worry that's going to separate to where there's, again, like 6, 7 guys in the field that have a huge advantage on the rest of them. It's kind of like a tiger-proof situation, right? Like, what are you doing by tiger-proofing courses is you're almost making it even a wider disparity for those guys with the most length, and straightness off the tee. I think that there is a chance with this one. We haven't seen a major here in forever. The 2018, what was it? The BMW Championship was held here, a good event, but it also, the scoring was pretty deep. So I do have a little concern that, again, these guys are so freaking good and hit the ball so freaking far that some of them are going to probably, have a chance to just take over this. Look what Cam Young did off the tee, this last week, just hitting ropes. I do wonder, could he overpower a course like this? But it's going to be fun to see. And the great thing is there's so many good guys playing well right now that, I think there's 4 or 5 guys that have a legit claim to the best golfer in the world right now. Matt Fitzpatrick belongs in that conversation. Cam Young, Scottie Scheffler, obviously what Rory's doing. And I'm ready to watch these guys battle it out on a big stage.
Yeah. Just to play back, like you said, the guys torched this in 2018 at the BMW. I think Keegan won at -20. It rained a ton. And this is part of the storyline, I think, when you think about what went on with Doral too. When the only defense a golf course has is the weather, we're in a tough spot, because if you don't get the weather you want, then the golf course doesn't have. So I'm with you, Keith. I'm even looking. You're looking through some of the signature holes on this golf course, and you got number 8's a 240-yard par 3 down the hill over a ravine. And we used to sweat that guys are going to hit 3-woods. Guys are going to hit 6 irons into this thing. And it just isn't what it used to be. I think the one thing that's interesting to me in the Reno is that Gil added about 30% square footage to the green complexes, added more quadrants, more sections. And this is interesting. And as I was thinking through course comps here too, the first one that came to mind was Oak Hill. Now that was an Andrew Green Reno of Donald Ross course. And also being in the Minneapolis area, we have Interlochen here, which was also an Andrew Green, Donald Ross Reno. Does not accommodate the professional golfer. But one of the things that they did was they changed the green surfaces to have, like, some of the greens have 6, 7, 8 sections to them.
Right.
And it's not gimmicky. It's just, that's kind of what's going to happen at Aronimink here as well, is 6,600 square foot greens with multiple sections. Depending on what they want to do with the pins, you could end up with some really wonky 40, 50, 60 foot putts.
And an important thing to note, there's 174 bunkers on this golf course. There is trouble throughout if you don't hit it in the right spot. And all things considered, as we said, this is a original Donald Ross design that has been remade over the years. Ron Pritchard revamped it in 2003. One of the better revampers of Donald Ross designs in terms of modernizing the golf course, in my opinion. Hans obviously, had a hand in here as well. So we're getting a hodgepodge of some of the best golf designers and remodelers in the world there. So it's going to play in a very specific way. It's not going to be right. We're not a Doral where we're testing players with just 7,700 yards of distance. It's not Oakmont where, it's got bunkers, but some of them are pretty gimmicky and really not supposed to come into play. Like, this is still a course that I think is going to test players And yes, the game has gotten longer. Last time this venue saw a professional tournament was the 2020 Women's PGA Championship. -14 was the score there. So obviously, coming back to this venue, hosting a PGA Championship for the first time since 1962, the -2 score that won that year is not likely to be the score that won this year.
Way to go on a limb there, Jake.
I would go as far as to say Gary Player might still be able to go shoot -2 at this golf course if he played from the Reds. But anyways, as we start to look at this tournament a little bit deeper, obviously, we're a betting podcast, right? We're talking about the plays that we like. So let's take a look as we go down the odds boards here. The odds as they sit right now, we are recording this on Monday, May 4th. So odds are likely to change as these continue to come out. Scottie is currently opening as the outright favorite. I have DraftKings up here. He's coming off at +380. Rory is second at +650, and then Bryson is third at 10-1. As we look at this board here, for those of us who are in the market here, do we like the top end of the board? Is this a course where we may be willing to take some of these risks on longer shots here? Or is this going to play more like a traditional major where some of these players at the top end of the board are going to be our preferred choices?
Yeah, Keith, why don't you start, Keith? Yeah, I'm curious what you think.
I mean, it's hard for me to believe that you're not going to have a winner come from like that top 25 range, 25 and under range, because the PGA has kind of became the event that the best players in the world win. I mean, if you look at the last, really 4 or 5 years, I mean, even JT, when he last won the PGA, one of the best ball strikers in the world, one of the best players in the world. Obviously, you've had Xander and Scottie in the last couple of years. I can't bet Scheffler at plus, not even 4-1. Rory at +650, you could probably easily talk me into. This is a guy who's played, again, very well on Donald Ross courses. He finished obviously second to Bryson at Pinehurst. I think he finished top 5 actually at this venue the last time they hosted a PGA event, 2018. And then the big thing is his irons are as good as they've ever been. And Donald Ross courses are ultimately iron tests. Like that's what they always end up being. And Rory is a better iron player than Scottie Scheffler right now. And you're getting him for almost double the odds. Like to me, that feels pretty good, especially when Rory can be more aggressive off the tee than Scheffler as well, where he's not afraid to really take on lines because, Scheffler plays that big cut, hits it plenty far. But again, Rory, it seems like it's just how far does he want to hit it off the tee at times. So I think Rory is interesting. Bryson's got a good record, obviously, on Ross courses as well. Won the 24 U.S. Open. He's another guy that could end up taking advantage of these lines. No one can hit it further probably than Bryson when he's, motivated to do so. But his iron numbers have not been great. And again, neither have Scheffler's this year. So I think out of, those first 3 names, Rory is by far the best value.
I'm curious if you've seen enough in Scottie's approach play the last couple of weeks. It's markedly better. He's probably gaining about twice the number of strokes as he was gaining the beginning of the year up until the last 3 events. So either he's figured something out, or this is a little bit, he's finished with 3 straight second places. And he hasn't been good enough to beat guys who are literally on fire right now. But I don't know. I like this. I think Scottie is quietly doing some things that we're not really keeping track of, kind of what he's doing from just a contention standpoint. When he wins, he's going to win big. It's going to happen. He's going to get it figured out. I don't know.
He's got to get off to a good start to do that, though. And that's my bigger concern is he can't play the first round right now. Like he's losing. Yeah. He's pulling his best Rory impersonation where, he can't get out of his own way. And then if he could just shoot something decent in the first round for the last, 6 weeks, you'd have 3 or 4 more wins.
Yeah. I'm down on the live guys. Really it's just Bryson and Rahm, but this whole thing has got to be such a distraction and such a burden to bear
Yep.
How do you show up at a place like Aronimink and come out and I'm sorry, like, prove me wrong, but like, I'm so down on those guys.
Well, especially Bryson, not only does all of that going on, he withdrew from the last live event with an injury. So injury concerns are there. As I stated on this show, I think he may have been signing too many contracts or logging into too many Zoom meetings with companies over that time frame. But yeah, especially after what we saw at the Masters, right? Like neither of those guys had a phenomenal performance. Rahm going in, I think he was all of our favorite to win the event.
Oh, I love.
And then just non-competitive event for him. But so past the live guys, we start to get into Xander's at 1,600, Cam Young at 1,600, two guys who, Cam Young's stock probably at an all-time high. The dude has just turned into arguably the best golfer in America right now. I'll say, actually, let me correct myself, the best male golfer in America right now.
Attaboy.
Shout out Nelly Corda.
Touché.
But Cam Young, I think if he keeps playing the way he has to be in consideration for an event like this.
As the best 4-day total at Sedgefield Country Club, the one Donald Ross course that, they visit every year, one Cameron Young at 19.2 strokes on the field total. So, he probably fits that pretty well. And it feels a little bit like what Scottie did at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, where you had this elite ball striker who just could not putt to save his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's slowly ramping up. And now it seems like he's just a good putter. And I didn't believe that was possible, but Scheffler continues to make putts at a very high level and stay, one of the top 20 putters in the world. If Cam does the same, he's going to start stacking up dubs left and right, just like Scottie did.
Yeah, I mean, Cam gained almost 8 strokes putting last week at Doral, and you look at that and you're like, okay, well that obviously saved his round, but no, he still gained 2 strokes on approach. He still gained 5 strokes off the tee. Yeah. Like he put it all in gear, and it was the same story when he won at the Players, and so he has the ability. This isn't just the putter bailing him out a couple of weeks. He has the ability to put it all together. He's doing it right now. You talk about, sort of like you can get twice the value on Rory over Scottie. You can get 4 times the value on Cam Young over Scottie right now. And I don't think the profile is all that different.
Are we all out on Xander? I'm out on Xander, but
I'm not here. I kind of like what I'm seeing from Xander, and, I felt like when he really took off was when we just started disrespecting him. And it was just like, well, he can't win. Xander can't get it done. And then he went and won 2 straight majors, which that is no small feat, like to win back-to-back major championships. He also had an injury. I know people don't want to give him the same pass that we give like Scottie and other guys that, they were banged up. Again, I don't love the odds because I'd way rather bet Cam, Fitzpatrick, who's just a little bit higher. But I do think that it would not shock me if Xander ends up being in contention here, because he's another guy that plays these kind of courses well, because he does everything really well typically when he's playing good, and he's playing really well over the last 5-6 events.
He is. I mean, he's getting a bit of flack for basically non-contention backdoor top 5 top 10s, but he's doing it the right way, and yeah, it's not leading to wins, but we just gushed about Cam Young and what he's doing on approach. I mean, Xander's gaining, 6 to 8 shots in events with his iron play, and almost equally with his driver. He's been relatively flat in the short game categories. And so all it's going to take is just a slightly positive week. His floor is incredibly high right now. And I think we're just looking for a reason to not say Xander. But I mean, since he came back and shook off the baby rust, he's quietly putting together a solid first half of the season.
Definitely. As we continue down the board, we start to get into, quote unquote, more fun names or boring names, depending on who you are. We get in the 2,000 to 2,500 range. We get Matt Fitzpatrick, Ludwig Aubert, Colin Morikawa, Tommy Fleetwood, and Justin Thomas. Obviously, an extremely talented group of players. I think they all have their warts at this point. Thomas still working his way back from injury. Fleetwood has won now, but still has that reputation hanging on his back, similar to Morikawa in a sense. Ludwig, what's going on there? Like on paper, the dude should win a lot of golf tournaments and just does not win golf tournaments right now. And then Matt Fitzpatrick wins every golf tournament, it seems, this year anyway.
What else does he have to accomplish after securing a PGA Tour card for his brother? He's a major winner. He's a Ryder Cup winner. He's a multi-time tour winner. He's the family savior. He's won his family's vacation spot
The golden
twice
child.
now. Like, what? He doesn't need to win another major. What else does he have to do?
Yeah, he's got to win a major. He's got to win another major. Personally,
He probably would win. I actually think if Fitz is going to win a major, it's going to be at a place, like Brookline, where you just kind of had to think your way through things and be mentally tough. This actually would be a pretty good spot. This would be fitting for his game, I think.
I was going to say, on paper, I feel like a PGA Championship venue is the most logical major for a Matt Fitzpatrick to win. Is it going to be this year? I don't know. Obviously, just looking at the recent form, there's nobody in better recent form. The man's won 3 of the last 4 tournaments. We got to, on paper, it's hard to say anybody but Matt Fitzpatrick should win a golf tournament right now. But at the same time, majors carry a different level of pressure regardless of venue. You could go to a guy's home course. We could host next year's Open Championship at Hollywood Golf Club, where Rory McIlroy grew up playing golf, and that level of pressure is different on top of it being a major. So it's something that we have to consider there. But based on the tier in this area, I think, besides Fitz's stock all-time high, 3 of the 4 wins, I'd say the rest of the field were either down or kind of meh on.
Somebody tell me why JT is in this grouping.
I was gonna ask the exact same question.
Like, I'm embarrassed that that someone's got to spend 25 to 1 on JT this week. That's embarrassing.
I mean, I guess this is because Tiger's no longer there for fanboys like myself to bet at ridiculous odds. So they're just taking his one good buddy on tour.
Is that what it is? Like, what has he done? His best finish was a non-contending top 8. I
guess when you've
Players.
won one major and you've won it twice, maybe that would be the excuse. But I seriously was like, Justin Thomas, JT, that's who that is.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say it probably has to do with just his general history at the PGA Championship. 2 wins here, 2 other top 10s, another top 20 finish in PGA Championships in his career. Obviously, another guy working off the injury rust. The dude can't putt to save his life right now. And the rest of his game has been very up and down. He's a guy in this range, I agree, makes no sense. As we get past him, we see Brooks pop up again. Brooks at 33 to 1.
Same thing we just said for Justin, basically.
Yeah. And then you get Hovland 35 to 1, Hatton 35 to 1, Justin Rose 35 to 1. Get those McLaren irons out of the bag, please.
Did Twitter just roast him this weekend? That was awesome.
How do you put irons in the bag and have your worst ball striking performance in years? And then,
how are you going to then fight back with people on social media like you have some? More, I know that's what I'm saying. Like, what is going on here, dude? It's like, just be quiet.
Like you look at his performances, and his last professional start was at the Masters, where he gained nearly 8 strokes on approach. And then to just see him at the Cadillac, just not be able to put an iron shot anywhere close to where it belongs.
Can you make dollar bills rain out of the top of the video feed here? Because I think the guy doesn't need more money, but they must have driven a Formula 1 car up with a lot of money in it.
I mean, a set of those irons is like $3,000.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
It's like
$400 a club, right?
It's like PXG prices when PXG first came out, and then before PXG was like, what, maybe we should be a budget brand. Thoughts? But and then obviously the board goes down from there. You have guys who have won on tour this year. You have a couple more live names that pop up. But as you go through this event entirely, we see interesting odds throughout the board. There's long shots down there. If Phil Mickelson makes a return, he's on the odds board 350 to 1. Anyone interested? I'm not. you currently have guys in the field like, this is the PGA Championship. We're going to see, what is it, the top 10 finishers from the PGA, what is it, the PGA Pro Championship, where it's the club pros from around the country who get
That's
to play.
25, right? And then 25 guys again, or am I getting that wrong?
Either way, we get Michael Block in the field. That'll be fun.
Block made it again. That was a cool video.
So it's certainly an interesting field, and that's what the PGA Championship brings us every single year. But if you guys have anybody else of interest in you, as we are early talking about this event, let it be known now. Let the people get in on it early.
I got some names.
Let's hear
them. Let's start with the guy who won his first ever event on a Donald Ross course. One of the best putters in the world. And again, I think that you will have to scramble here, obviously, with the size of the greens and the fact that, again, all those bunkers, guys are probably going to have to be, laying up in some places into greens. That's Patrick Reed. He's 50-1. And the real reason is his iron game is all of a sudden really good. Like the last time it was this good was he won the 2018 Masters, which we know you have to be able to hit your irons well to do it there. He has gained strokes on the field on approach in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight events, including this year at the Masters. He's also gaining strokes off the tee, and the putter is just as good as ever, gaining almost half a stroke on the field on the greens at Augusta. On the DP World Tour, he's already gained over a stroke in both of his wins there. I just think that you get Reed on a course that, especially if you guys are right, that you're not going to see a Rory or somebody who just, kind of overpowers this golf course. And this is a true think your way around venue. Patrick Reed 50-1. I like those odds a lot.
I like Akshay at 90-1 early. I'm going to say it. Another guy who I think can just intelligently play a golf course. If the putter is, continues to stay a strength for him as it has for most of this season, that and his shot making ability, he's going to, I would be surprised if, we record the official episode breaking down the event a couple days before the tournament. I would be surprised if Akshay's still 90-1 at that point. I feel like this is a good get in early opportunity value wise.
He was one of the list.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you do have, obviously, with Truist coming up, you could see in the reset the following week, you could see, based on the results of some of that, things moving around. Similarly, a guy that I like that's even a little bit longer, and I cannot believe what he is doing with his ball streaking right now, is Adam Scott.
Damn it, you guys. Come on, man. Like,
you're just stealing your guys?
Yeah, that's both of my long shots.
120-1 right now, 120-1. I mean, he's losing strokes on the greens every week. But this guy, as I was going through my Truist prep and making sure, first of all, Adam Scott's playing in his 100th consecutive major.
And then that's 25 straight years of majors. That's absolutely crazy.
Outrageous. And he's coming in as a top 10 player in driving distance. And I have him second, at least in my Truist model, at a proximity 200 yards or longer. Like, he's annihilating his driver. He's annihilating his long irons. He's hitting the ball probably the best of his career. Can't putt. This guy just needs to be a flat putter, and this is going to be a top 10 week. So Adam Scott 120 is so good for a guy that went T4, T24, T21 his last 3 events. He's got 4 top 10s on the year. Great golf.
I mean, this is the Truist field that these stats are referring to. But in the Truist field, which it's a signature event, obviously, sans Scottie, sans Henley, sans Morikawa, you have pretty much the rest of the entire top 20 in the world there. Scott is first in the field on approach, 7th in greens and regulation, 6th in overall proximity, 9th in going for the greens. So that stat, for those who aren't familiar, is going for the green on second shot on a par 5, or going for the green off your tee shot on a par 4. He's doing that at the 9th highest rate, and is actually hitting the green at the 7th highest rate. And when he's doing it, he's the 10th close or the 9th closest to the pin when he's doing that. Like, the ball striking skill that we are seeing out of Adam Scott right now is truly elite, especially when you consider that he's hitting the ball farther than he ever has at 45, almost 46 years old.
I mean, no notes. Like literally, he is he's another guy that if he wouldn't have got off to a bad start, he actually outplayed Cam Young after the first round, and really got a bad break that, you know, he found the literally the thickest rough, I think, on the entire golf course, and lost his ball, and it ended up making a big number early in his Thursday round. So no, I mean, I had Scott and Bhatia right there. The other guy that, you know, call me a sucker, call me getting sentimental, but this does feel like potentially a venue that you get a special winner, a guy that's never won a championship before. Rickie Fowler has been playing really good golf as of late. He, you know, plays these kind of courses well, where you just kind of got to keep it in front of you. And, you know, 110 to 1, I think that those odds are, you know, what we've seen from Fowler the last couple of years, not so much what we're seeing this year. And this is a guy that has played well in major championships. He finished top 10 the last time they had a PGA Tour event here. I know that was 2018. That was a long time ago, but he did finish top 10 there that week. And I could actually really get behind a Rickie Fowler to win. I mean, this is a guy that, you know, I think he finished also top 5 at Pinehurst back in 2014. So there is this kind of track record of him doing well on these, you know, Donald Ross courses.
And coming off back-to-back top 10s. I mean, Rickie's name continually moves up the model every week that I'm running it for the betting side of things. So clearly there are a lot of fun names that are going to be out there. Guys, as again, this is the preview show for the event, so make sure you check out the full show when we get that out for you on the week of the tournament. But that is going to wrap us up for the preview episode. So for myself, for Keith, for Mike, thank you guys all for tuning in, and we will see you all at our next tee time.